Welcome back to Dice Pixels, episode 37. We're going to be talking about Diablo 4 and a bunch of other stuff. Timestamps are below, and we're going to get into it. So, Diablo 4.
Oh, it's so wonderful. No problems whatsoever.
I swear to God, I'm almost positive that we said this in like a few episodes back where we were all kind of apprehensive about pre-ordering it, considering the fiasco that was Diablo 3.
Yeah.
And we even talked about that last night. So, Adrian.
So, I pre-ordered. Of course I did. So, I have not played the game yet. It was supposed to go live at 12 p.m. this morning, noon. And it's now 4 o'clock, and I have not made it past the queue as of yet. We're obviously recording, so I'm not... It's in queue right now. We'll see after we record this. I did get, my wife got in for 20 minutes or so, and I have thoroughly explored the loading screens. Those are loading screens. They're great.
On a scale to 1 to 10, how top-notch are they?
Well, actually, so funnily enough, on the Xbox side, they seem fine, but on the PC, apparently, I was seeing some reports of people during the queue screen, which is just a fucking like video in the background, their graphics card was like spun up all the way, like it was 100% fan. I was like, so what the hell is going on in this loading screen?
Oh my god.
For 2 hours, it's sitting there queuing, and their graphics card is just going to the, just wailing. So apparently not that good, I guess, is the answer.
Not the answer I was expecting, but
No,
holy
right?
crap.
So yeah, I'm pretty sure Blizzard shit the bed in every conceivable way on this one. Like, so full disclosure, I pre-ordered the game knowing full well that it was a Blizzard game and I was going to get fucked. Like, I knew this, but I was like, if I can get in for even an hour this weekend, I can make a little video, throw it up on YouTube. Maybe it'll be interesting. Maybe it won't. Who knows? But I'll do it. So I was happy to pay the extra money to do that. And I know that in 6 months, the game is going to be good. It's a Diablo game. I'll enjoy it. In 6 months, it'll be fine. Just like Diablo 3 was just garbage at launch, but I played the hell out of it later on. But I didn't expect to get this fucked. They really, really screwed this up. So the server capacity is garbage, obviously. But there's the initial question of like, why the hell is it connecting to a server in the first place? It's not an online game at all.
Yeah.
There's no online element to it. With Diablo 3, the only reason that there was an online component, they said, was for the real money auction house. Because if you're dealing with real money, you have to make sure that people aren't like duping items and stuff.
Yep.
But they cut that in Diablo 4. So I'm really not sure why they're bothering with, or at least offer an option for offline play.
Because everything has to be online all the time.
Always.
Always.
Yeah. So as a consequence of that, I've seen several reports now, and I'm sure watching this tomorrow, if you're interested in Diablo 4, you've probably seen more than we have at this point. But people's characters are just disappearing because every fucking thing needs to go through Blizzard servers. So people will like, I tried to add a talent point and the game crashed. And then when I went back in after 2 hours of queuing, my character was gone because it just didn't get saved to the server. And yeah, like even for Blizzard, they fucked this one. But so I got through the queue and to the login, and then I was informed after that I needed to link my Battle.net account because, of course, I haven't played a Blizzard game on my Xbox. And then I was informed by Blizzard that there was an authenticator attached to my account that was on a phone that I didn't know where it was because it's not on my current phone. I haven't played a Blizzard game that required an activation, an authenticator in years. So I went rummaging and I eventually found the phone. But then, of course, Apple, the iPhone takes like 20 minutes to charge up when you plug it in if it's been dead for a while. So while I was waiting for that, the game kicked me out because I had taken too long to like log in. So I have not gotten to play the fucking game yet. I'm gonna post some sort of a video later this weekend or Monday or something. It'll probably be a couple minutes long, sort of thing, maybe more. I mean, if I end up playing the game and actually get through something and enjoy it, maybe I'll actually post a proper video. I would say that I would stream it. I had originally thought that maybe we would, but people are talking about playing for 10 minutes and then crashing. So I don't know. Streamers are having very mixed success already. So I don't know if we will, but we'll see. Maybe later today we'll hop on for a little bit. Later yesterday for you. You will know if we did. Yeah. So
a bunch of the streamers that I was watching this morning, they were all already in queue, I think, before the 12 o'clock timestamp hit. But even then, it was like a lot of them had to wait like 25 to 30 minutes just to get on. And they did eventually get on, and watching their gameplay, it's like, okay, yeah, well, this is obviously Diablo. But I seen one tweet, just looking it up on Twitter to see how the communities reacted to it. And I seen one fellow mention that he played for 90 minutes before being kicked.
He was lucky.
Yeah.
Yeah. A lot of people are saying like a few minutes. There are some people who have legitimately gotten through to like boss fights and stuff, but that seems to be the exception, not the norm.
I think at this point, it's pretty unforgivable for Blizzard to be doing this. Like I had said earlier, like if it's like their first or second game or something like early on in company development, yeah, it's understandable for an instability and all of this crap to be happening. But they've been around, like, how long? Like, literally decades at this point.
Yeah.
They've had, like...
They're old.
Yeah, there's no reason for it to be this terrible. And
this is exactly what happened with Diablo 3.
Yeah.
Like, to the letter, this is exactly what happened with Diablo 3. So we were talking about it a little bit earlier, and the fact that they charged people for the early access. So to be clear, if you haven't been following Diablo 4, whatever... just buying the game, pre-ordering the game, does not get you access to the early demo. You have to pre-order the deluxe edition. So you're essentially paying more for access to this weekend. And then they gave away a whole bunch of extra codes to people through KFC, and they're running contests for additional codes and all kinds of stuff. Meanwhile, they clearly didn't even have the damn servers to support the people who pre-ordered the fucking game. So... people are really angry. The problem is, of course, for most people, they won't do anything about it. No. Like, the reason Blizzard keeps doing this is because people keep putting up with it. Yep. Like, yeah, Twitter, everybody hates them right now, but by the time June 6th rolls around and the game's actually releasing, people will be like, oh, it's all fine, whatever. Sarah's destroying her water bottle.
Yeah, why not?
So like that's why, like, people have a short memory and they keep giving them a chance. I went in fully knowing that I was going to get screwed.
Yeah.
I actually wasn't annoyed about the queuing. I expected that. I was annoyed about the BattleNet linking, and actually more annoyed with Apple, the fact that it took my phone so long to turn on. Basically every other device in the world, you plug it in and it, like, within 30 seconds, you can turn it on. Mm-hmm. Not iPhones. No. Those take hours. Yeah. So anyways, that really annoyed me. And then the fact that I had to rummage through and find the old phone. Because, of course, I told you guys this, but I went to the BattleNet login and I said, like, I've lost my authenticator. I need to remove my authenticator from my account. And Blizzard, in their infinite wisdom, says, great, just enter your authenticator code and we'll get right on that.
That's so bizarre. Like, I remember I had one of the original authenticators that you had to, like, buy from them.
Sure, yeah.
And when I had to remove that one because battery died or I lost it or whatever, I don't remember having that much issue removing it.
I feel like there's a way. I feel like I did this one time with my World of Warcraft account years ago, and I ended up having to, like, send them a photocopy of my license or something stupid, like email them a photocopy of my license. It was very, very dumb. But, like, I didn't even get that. Like, literally, I went, removed my authenticator, and the next screen was, how would you like to authenticate? And there was a drop down that just said authenticator. It wasn't like email me, call me. There was no like call us here if you're having trouble. literally just a screen that said, "How would you like to authenticate?" Authenticator. It's like, do you realize the button I pressed to get here was remove authenticator? So anyways, I found for one of my accounts, the one that matters, I did actually find the phone and got it charged up. But while I was faffing about with that, I got kicked out of the queue. So I still have not gotten to play Diablo 4 yet. But I will eventually.
Well, you were saying that you were having issues too on an Xbox as well, actually getting the demo.
Yeah. So everybody screwed this launch up, Microsoft included. So when you bought the game on Xbox, it as with all games, you buy the game, you pre-order it, and then it's like, cool, would you like to preload the content? Yes. And it downloads a few hundred megabytes. And I thought that was a little weird because I expected it to be more, but I'm like, it's a demo. Who knows, right? Like, could be small. I don't know. No. That's not the game. That's just like literally, as far as I can tell, that's like a video file that just plays when you open it and tells you that it's not ready yet. You have to go back into your library and find the Diablo demo, which is a completely separate game that's 76 gigs on the X. It's actually interesting. On the X, it was 76. Pretty sure on the S, it was only like 62. So there's something, textures or something. They actually intelligently deliver a different version, which is good. I mean, good on them.
That makes
Wonder
sense.
is that a part of that smart delivery system that they have for a lot of their games?
Yeah, I assume it's that in action, which is good. Like, rock on. I'm happy about that. But so you have to go and manually install this other thing. So I didn't know about this. I had no reason to assume that they had given me the wrong game, especially after the whole hoopla they made about the smart delivery. I just assumed it was right. And so then when 12 o'clock hit, I realized that I was not going to be able to get in. So I had to go and download this other game, which took me a few minutes to figure out. And then, so I didn't even get to try until about 1:45, and by then, or 12:45, and then by then the queues were already up to like 2 hours. So yeah. I mean, it's all just a rich tapestry of bullshit. They really screwed this launch up badly. And people, like, there's the two camps. There's the people who are complaining about it on Twitter, which I fully support, because like they screwed this up. There is zero excuse for Blizzard sucking this badly for this long. And then there's the people who are like, oh, give them a break. It's a demo. It's a beta. It's like, no. Like, beta, like, crashing, fine. Crashing is part of beta. Like, the people who are like, oh, I tried to add a talent point and it crashed. That's fine. That's part of beta.
I tried to skip a cutscene in
it. Skipping a cutscene made the game crash. Like, all of that, whatever. Your character being deleted when you go back in is like, that's not so beta. That's like, you should have probably caught that before you went to beta. And then the 2 hour queue, it's like, well, that's just unacceptable for any reason ever. Like,
that sounds like when servers first open up for a new expansion for World of Warcraft.
And this is why I didn't. This is why I knew that I was going to get screwed, because like World of Warcraft still has this problem. Yep. It's had this problem for as long as it's been out. God, how many years is it? I feel like it's like 18 years or something.
I think the original came out 2005, 2006.
Yeah, that would be 2004. Oh, so that is
19 years this year.
Bordering on 20 years. Damn. So for 20 years, they've had this problem with World of Warcraft. So I wasn't expecting miracles, right? But the fact that they're charging people to play in this early access makes it like extra unacceptable that they're doing this. I'm not surprised. I fully expected that. It was all of the other crap that got in my way that actually annoyed me. The queue, it's unacceptable, and people should be complaining about it. And I wish that people would actually hold them to task by, like, I don't know, refunding their orders or something. I fully expected that part, so I'm not that grumpy about it. It's still unacceptable, but I'm not that grumpy. So,
was there? I can't remember, and I don't think any of us played it. But did they have issues with Dragonflight? Didn't that just come out for a while?
There were some. It's less, but that's mostly because the World of Warcraft player base has been pretty stable.
Yeah, it's yeah.
every subsequent release of an expansion, from the numbers that I've seen, the sort of like reactivation.
Haha, it's you this time, not me.
Chad just about dumped Monster.
Shut up.
That was a good catch, though. It went right up to the rim, but not over. It was perfect.
Well, they go over a little bit. There's a bit of a splash.
okay.
Anyway.
It used to be people would kind of lull before an expansion, and then there would be like a huge uptick in accounts.
Yeah.
That peak seems to get lower with every expansion, so their servers they don't have to have as much extra capacity. But with Diablo 3, it's like it's the KFC thing that really makes people pissed off about it, and they're right to be pissed off about it. It's like you couldn't even handle the people that paid extra to be a part of this.
Yeah.
And then you went ahead and gave away free codes through KFC. Like, you're actively disrespecting your customers.
Yeah.
You are just actively shitting on people for no good reason. So,
Well, and honestly, too, like we said, with the style of the game that it is, there should just be like, if you want to try it, like, just have it offline. Like,
yeah, I mean, even if that means you can't partake in the auction house, which is that's the only part of the game that I'm aware of that has any reason to be online whatsoever.
apart from the typical online multiplayer shit.
Yeah, well, like the season stuff, because they're going to do seasons.
Yep.
They've already said they're doing that. Fine, like you can't play seasons offline. Fair enough. But if you want to play the main game, especially during the beta, when you know this shit's going to be broken, give it an option, right? Like, people could be actually testing the game right now. Instead, people are testing the loading screens. Which, incidentally, there are a lot of bugs with.
Weirdly, yes.
Yeah.
So we have seen some of the gameplay. To be clear, my wife did get into the game. We have it looks a lot like Diablo 3.
I find and I mentioned this before, but I find the art style to be more reminiscent of Diablo 2 as opposed to 3, because with Diablo 3 I found to be really colorful and like vibrant and bright, and it had this kind of cartoony aesthetic to it all.
Yep.
And with Diablo 4, when they announced it, and even just seeing what we had up there, it just reminded me of like an upscale Diablo 2 kind of art style.
Yeah, you said that, and I didn't see that. I didn't feel that. But then again, I don't know. I never thought that Diablo 2 and Diablo 3 looked that different. I mean, they're obviously, Diablo 2 was far less like
Graphically.
Polished, we'll call it. But in terms of like tone, I didn't really think they were that different.
Yeah, I think like 3 to me just looked more. It had a more kind of cartoony, not like hard, super cartoony, but it was more like along the lines of like chunky. WoW, like kind of like WoW or Warcraft or something.
Yeah,
it had that kind of art style apart from like the cinematics. I mean, the cinematics. I'll give it to Blizzard, man. You guys do cinematics like a fucking champ. Like the shit that they come up with for cinematics is amazing. It is so good.
They're pre-rendered cinematics. Are amazing. The in-game intro cinematic where the guy's walking with the torch was pretty bad.
That torch. Why does that fire look so bad? Like, that looked horrible.
I can only assume that they just didn't care, or they're going to improve it.
I certainly hope so.
Because I gotta say, that was a pretty embarrassing. Like, that honestly didn't look better. Like, it did in some ways look better than old games, but like that honestly looked like the sort of thing that I would expect from like a early 2000s sort of cutscene. It was not very good.
It almost reminded me of the class, like the old Resident Evil 2 style games, how they had like the pre-rendered backdrops.
Yep. And
you'd see the fire in there, and it looked completely out of place next to the character model. That's how this kind of looked to me, because the way the fire was moving and just it didn't look like it meshed well with like the rest of the game.
Yeah. I think it was a shader problem.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that it was because it's like hazy and there's snow and everything else. I'm pretty sure that it was actually just like a shader issue where the outline of the flame looked weird. Yeah. So presumably it's something that they could fix. Whether they will or not, who knows?
Which, by the way, this isn't a game-breaking issue. This is just something that we all kind of seen and thought, that's
Whoa.
really weird.
Well, given that we've only been able to see the first 20 minutes of the game, I mean, there's only so much we can critique right now.
Yeah.
Like I say, I'll keep at it throughout the weekend, try and get some time logged, but unless they fix stuff fast, I don't think there's much of a chance because, holy crap, this is probably the worst Blizzard launch to date, and they've had a string of really bad
Yeah, I was
launches.
gonna say that's saying a lot.
Yeah.
It's kind of sad that it always seems to happen to Diablo.
No, it happens to everything.
No, I know, but I'm looking at the last the last WoW expansion, and I'm sure there was issues, but it wasn't, and it's probably because I don't play the game, but it wasn't where it was to the forefront, and I was seeing it's oh geez, wow, they really fucked up with WoW.
Yeah, no, I mean there were lots of issues with Dragonflight though. To be clear, there wasn't the queuing issue.
Yeah.
Because not a million extra people didn't start playing overnight.
Yeah.
Or at least if there were, it wasn't enough more to be a problem. So I don't think there were queuing issues. That's a new game sort of thing. But yeah, they announced, they did an official response and everything to all of the Dragonflight launch issues and everything. Okay. So Blizzard sucks. Blizzard is a shitty gaming company, which actually is one of the reasons why I'm curious as to why Microsoft is even trying to buy them.
Yeah.
I assume it's because they see all of the intellectual property and they're like, oh, we could do a Diablo 5, but good. we could take all these things that Blizzard keeps screwing up and not screw them up. Because otherwise, Blizzard is a train wreck of a company. They flounder from one horrible mistake to the next and just barely cling on to people's goodwill enough to get them to buy games. It's crazy.
It's so surprising that they haven't learned anything from their mistakes either. Or they have learned little bits, but keep making amazingly brand new ones.
Well, in fairness, I think they have learned one thing, which is they can continue screwing up horribly and nobody cares.
Yeah.
Unfortunate as it is, I feel like that is the lesson they keep taking away, and they've learned it well.
And I mean, and it's the same can be said for a lot of these online games. I mean, look at Destiny 2, right? Lightfall just came out, and I've heard a lot of people say that it is a very disappointing expansion.
Sure.
Right? But I mean, people still play it, people still buy it, and great. I mean, I will still stand by and say Destiny 2 is by far and away the best first person shooter I'll take that over COD any day, but that's just me. But
well, it's not just you.
No, I know. But yeah, even I was just no, I'm done. So
I feel like Bethesda has this reputation as well. Their games come out, they're just absolutely buggy, and they continue to be buggy forever, but people still play the ever-living shit out of them.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think probably the thing that makes Bethesda people be okay with Bethesda is they'll release a game and it'll have huge issues.
Yeah.
But they also almost always have modability baked in from day one. So a lot of times people can either mod around it or they can just fix the stuff they can improve that. I mean, look at Skyrim, right?
Yeah. It's still buggy as hell, but people still love it, myself included.
People still love it, and also if you load it up with a bunch of different mods, you're not even playing the same damn game.
No.
I mean, obviously you are, but it's so different than what it was when it was released.
Mm.
So I think that's part of what Bethesda gets away with is there's a very strong modding community.
Yeah.
Blizzard, I mean, WoW has UI mods, but Blizzard doesn't do modding. Blizzard doesn't
Not in
do
the same way, no.
launches. Blizzard doesn't support their games very well. I actually don't really know, other than the fact that they make really cool stuff that's terrible. I don't know why they're... So, anyways.
I feel like we've had this conversation before, why indie games are becoming more well-liked and moving more into the forefront is because of the AAA gaming companies like Blizzard and Bethesda and everything like that, just shit in the bed again and again and again.
Yeah, without remorse.
Yeah.
Without even trying to correct for it.
Yeah.
So anyways, yeah, Diablo 4, absolute train wreck. I'm sure that within a couple months it'll be great. Well, okay, no, within a couple months it'll be released.
Yes.
And then a few months after that. It'll be great.
Yes.
Because that's the way these things go. Like, I'm not saying Diablo 4 is a bad game. I'm saying Diablo 4 right now barely even qualifies as a game. On other news though from Blizzard, this headline caught me by surprise. It caught all of us by surprise. They've banned 120,000 Death Knights from WoW, and we were all like, "Why Death Knights? Like that's weird." And it doesn't take long to figure it out. It's Death Knights start at level, what is it, 50?
50,
So
yeah.
all the bots use Death Knights. So
Yep.
they just banned a lot of bots. It just happens that all of them use Death Knights. But that was surprising to read. That it's like, was there something wrong with the class? Did they? No. It's just all the bots use Death Knights. So yeah. But that was fun. I like that.
Yep.
Did you guys want to talk about this Tiny Tina?
Yeah, on Steam right now until March 24th, Tiny Tina's Assault on Dragon
Dragon
Keep. Okay, I did have Dragon Keep in there. Anyway, it's free on Steam for keepsies. It was originally released as a DLC for Borderlands 2, if you're unfamiliar with it. And then when Tiny Tina's Wonderland was coming out, they re-released it again as a standalone item. And it's free right now until the 24th. So yay.
Yay.
Oddly enough, though, the DLC is still $3.26 or something like that.
That's weird.
Yes. But yeah, go grab it while you can. It's a co-op game that's shooty and a squeaky girl's doing like a D&D style game in it. So
if you like Borderlands.
yes.
And who
Or even
doesn't-
if you don't.
Who doesn't like free stuff, right?
Yeah,
true.
that's mostly
That's very
why
true.
I'm getting it, because
Yeah.
it's free.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah, I went this week. The Outer Worlds Spacers Edition came out, which is an optimized version for Xbox Series X and S and the PS5. Basically, a Game of the Year edition. It's a good game. Like, The Outer Worlds is a great game. It's basically like Fallout in space. It's made by Obsidian, the people that did Fallout New Vegas and South Park, Stick of Truth. And they have a rep for making, good kind of Bethesda style RPGs, right? This one's good. It's got a little quirky sense of humor. It reminds you a lot of literally Fallout in space minus like the dark nuclear Holocaust stuff.
Yeah.
But this version isn't very optimized.
Yeah.
so-
You were showing me when I was over there, and
Yeah.
fair bit of frame drop, like below 30 FPS at times.
Yeah, because they give you the option for a performance or a quality mode, and for anybody that knows, the PS5 and Xbox Series X performance mode is basically a mode where the game will take some textures off so that the game runs at 60 frames per second, which I prefer now.
Yeah.
So I have it set for that, and there were quite a few moments, even showing you last night, where you're chugging through and the frames, you watch them just drop.
Yeah. Like I said, I would say without question, like there's not an FPS counter, but I would say without question, there were times where it was below 30 frames per second, which is significantly off of the 60 FPS. Like if it was like, oh yeah, it's not quite at 60. Okay, whatever. Like that's gonna happen. But it was low. We're gonna fire it up on. So I have an X and an S. We're gonna fire it up on the S at some point, and just see if because maybe they like way scaled it back on the S, and maybe it actually runs it faster.
Yeah,
it'll look worse, but maybe it runs faster. We'll see.
Yeah. So it's not a game breaker by any means. Like, it's a fun game. The Outer Worlds is really, if you haven't had a chance to play it, it is on Game Pass. The original version's on Game Pass. I don't know if you can get all the added bells and whistles. You probably can, but if you want to try it, it is on Game Pass. But it is a fun game. I do like it. The one thing honestly, the one thing that really, 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 really annoys me about this Spacers Edition is every time you start the game from scratch, like you shut it down
And turn it on.
You close it, and when you go back into it and it goes through the menu thing and you see that starting screen and you hit the A button, you always have to scroll down this fucking end user agreement.
Yep.
and accept it before you can even load your game. Like, okay, in some games, you do that once, and that's usually the first time that you log into the game.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Why the fuck do I have to do this every time I log into this game?
Yeah, stuff like that. You're like, who didn't do their job?
Yeah, I don't remember, like, because we have it for PS4 as well, and so I was playing it on the PS4 when we were using that a lot more. Yeah. I don't remember having to do that at all.
Yeah, no, somebody just there's a bit that's supposed to get set when you say yes, and somebody didn't do it, and then somebody didn't test it.
Yeah,
like there's no way that was intentional.
Yeah,
that would be.
There's
no way that's intentional.
Very annoying. But I've been having fun with that. Like I said, I'm enjoying the game. It's great to play something where you can literally talk your way through everything, and for the most part, never really have to fire a shot.
Yeah, when you said that, I'm actually curious. I'm gonna have to check. I'll probably check out the Game Pass version and see what it looks like versus the Spacer. But that kind of tweaked my curiosity because I enjoy games that actually let you play. That was actually one of the things about Skyrim that kind of bothered me. I played as a rogue, essentially, and I could sneak through 95% of the game. But then you get to a boss, the end boss specifically, and no, you're in full on combat. It's like, but that's not how I built my character, so this is a problem for me. Yeah, I like games that legitimately let you get around stuff. So, here's a random one, since we're on the topic of Xbox stuff right now.
Yeah,
I got an ad for Pizza Hut on my Xbox.
That seems so weird to me.
I booted it up, and on the home screen where the game tiles are and everything, there was a Pizza Hut, and I was like, that's interesting. Maybe they added an app, right? Because they used to have one, and so I watch it, and it's a literally just like a commercial for Pizza Hut. They have this new melts thing that was like $9. It's like a Panzerotti.
Okay.
So I was like, cool, and weirdly enough, the video ends with like an order now on the screen, and it looks like a button, and I'm like, that's not a button. So then I went to the App Store because I'm like, sure, I'll check this out. It's weird that they didn't just link you out to something, but I'll check this out. And I searched for Pizza Hut. Weirdly, Forza 5 comes up, one of the DLCs for it. I think it was Forza 5. That's strange, but not relevant. There is no Pizza Hut app, so they showed me an ad for Pizza Hut on my Xbox, but didn't let me follow through with that, which is really stupid. So now I'm talking about how stupid this was instead of how awesome it was that they were like, here, buy pizza. And then I was like, click, and I got pizza. I don't understand. Somebody fucked up in their marketing department really badly.
Yeah.
I would have ordered it just for the story. They would have made money. And instead, they kind of annoyed me. Like, I love Pizza Hut. I'll still order from them and everything else. But, I don't order it a lot, but I like Pizza Hut. It's delicious. Mm-hmm. I totally would have ordered these if they had just given me an easy way to do it. And instead I guess they wanted me to pull out my phone and order through that, which, I mean, I could have.
You could, but like if it's already there in front of you, most people are going to do like one of those, it's like the chocolate bars at checkout counters. Like it's there conveniently. Let me just do the thing. Right.
Like this is marketing 101. It's like if you're going to tell somebody about a product that's like an impulse buy, you better fucking let them impulse buy.
Yep.
So it literally went from, oh, that's kind of weird and quirky that they offered me to like order pizza through my Xbox, and now it's like they interrupted my experience with an ad that I couldn't even then action properly. No, that's stupid. Like I have I lost respect for the Pizza Hut brand instead of having a cool story and delicious pizza. Mm-hmm. So like that was a near miss.
Shame.
And weirdly, they had an Xbox app on the Xbox 360. They did release an app for Pizza Hut. It really just opened their website, but you could order pizza through your Xbox, and it sold a ton. Like there are news articles that you can look up from people saying it sold like millions of dollars worth of pizza, because oddly enough, why wouldn't you order it through your Xbox, right? That's super convenient.
Yeah. Would you have been able to do it at that time when Xbox 360, like online? Like I don't think there would have been apps or anything.
So the news articles, because I looked into this a little bit, they were saying like 2014. So whatever that maps to in terms of.
So yeah, I guess there would have been some apps, but whether or not there'd been food ordering apps is kind of
certainly like DoorDash and stuff was not. Like,
Yeah.
there might have been a couple, but not like there are now. Pizza was sort of that was the go-to for delivery.
Yeah.
So anyways, it's weird that they used to have an app, and it's because I thought that's what it was. I thought they were like reintroducing the app, and it was like one-click pizza ordering while you're gaming. I'm like, I'm not going to take advantage of it a lot, but I'll definitely try it
it's
once.
Certainly nice having it there if you want it.
Yeah, and it's content, right? Like, sure, I'll give it a go, and I'll talk about it on the podcast tomorrow. And then instead, I'm talking about how they fucked it up.
Yeah.
So,
Quick update to what I was talking about with the Outer World Spaces Edition. A patch apparently is released today, but it addresses. It says one of the issues it addresses is improved frame rate and performance modes for both Series X and PlayStation 5. So
we'll have an update next week.
Yes, I will update that next week.
Cool. Well, at least they're addressing it. At least they're
Yeah.
not just saying like pound salt. So
Yeah.
that's good. that they
They
got
heard me. No, I'm just. Yeah. Yep.
So Sarah, why don't you talk about the ChatGPT thing?
I was just scrolling through articles, and apparently, with the release of ChatGPT 4, people have been having fun on that one. And someone put in there asking about how to play Pokemon Emerald, and the bot, or whatever you want to call it, was like, here is the opening sequence, and this person was able to play a text-based version of Pokemon Emerald with a fair bit of accuracy.
Yeah, it was sort of a choose your own adventure version of Pokemon Emerald, which took me by surprise when you linked us to it, when you showed us, because I was like, how did it actually come up with that? And then reasonably it probably just pulled it from walkthroughs is what we're figuring. But that is kind of cool.
That is cool. I kind of want to, like, I've never really played Pokemon at all, but even any other game, like, just seeing if it could run a text-based sort of version of any other game, I think that would be really interesting to fiddle around with a little bit and see what you could quote unquote play.
Yeah, we'll do an update. I'm probably gonna ChatGPT 4 is being overblown in a lot of ways, much like ChatGPT 3.5 was. But that alone is actually interesting enough that I think I'm probably going to subscribe, because I have the account all set up.
Yeah.
I'm probably going to subscribe to the Plus so that I can get access to the version 4. Just to see what else, because can you do it for Skyrim? Can you do it for, I wouldn't, because like that would be hours worth of like typing and getting, but that's almost cool, right?
Yeah.
Like, it's almost like a single player D&D game.
Yeah.
So
it actually would be interesting to see if it could play a single player D&D game with you, because I know you've run the scenarios to do the things.
So this is a video that I keep meaning to make, and I haven't gotten around to it. You can, with ChatGPT, you can tell it to assume the role of a player. Like, if you want to DM, you can have it basically be your player, and you can actually have multiple conversations going with different player types. So you can run a D&D game as the DM and have it come up with things that a player would do. You just tell it to give you a few options, and one of them always makes sense. And some of them are actually very creative and cool. I don't think it does a good job at all as a DM, though, because it doesn't have any understanding of what it's doing.
Okay.
It just vomits word salad. So like if you say, like, as a player, as a wizard, what would you do in this situation? It can be like, oh, well, I'd cast Mage Hand, or I'd go invisible, or whatever. But if you're like, give me a scenario in a forest and blah de blah, it'll kind of work as a DM, but it gets off track very quickly. It cannot create like a narrative world and then walk you through it. It just sort of, based on my last response, I'll add some more stuff and hopefully it'll make sense. And as long as you don't go too deep, it's fine. But D&D is kind of about going pushing the boundaries, and it breaks up really fast.
That kind of seems like it. Last week we were talking about Paizo just totally saying no to any AI created content. That kind of seems like it's AI content in itself is almost a bit of a solution, because it can kind of give you the vague idea, but you still need to build onto it for it to actually make sense.
Yeah, well, that's kind of what I was getting at when I was talking about like having it fill in gaps for you. Is like, if you come up with a compelling story, like as a DM, I can come up with a skeleton of a session and then have ChatGPT write me flowery descriptions and everything to like slot in. Fantastic. In fact, I would argue that any DM that doesn't have ChatGPT pulled up on their laptop ready to rock with like, so if somebody says like, I'm gonna go and talk to the blacksmith, cool, 2 seconds, ChatGPT, give me a description of a blacksmith. It's great. It's a wonderful tool.
Yeah.
But you've got to be the one to keep, you've got to be its memory, you've got to be its thinking, because it can't do those two things. It can do dialogue, it can do like description and everything else. It's amazing, but it doesn't understand any of what it's saying. So it doesn't track things. So that's where it falls down. But as a DM, if you want to, this is the video that I'm going to produce at some point in the near future. If you want to like test out your GM chops and like learn more about GMing, ChatGPT can be an amazing. I was actually, it caught me off guard. I gave it a few scenarios like, you're a wizard and you're a buddy fighter and you're in a bar and there's a bar fight breaking out. Like, what do you do? And some of the things that it came up with were legitimately interesting and creative.
Yeah, I remember you showing us some of those, and it's just like, wow, this is far more clever than I even would be.
Yeah, and it's great because it gives you a couple of different options, and you're like, okay, well, if a player did that, I could, I'd guide them this way, and if they did it, and then it's like, oh God, what would I do if a character did that? So it's cool. It's a great tool, but it is not in danger of,
Yeah.
It's nowhere near an effective DM yet.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like you said, it's a tool.
Yeah. Very useful, but not a replacement.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Real quick before we move on, because I have a Paizo thing actually.
Oh, right.
They have partnered with Start Playing, which I didn't even know what Start Playing was. I had to look into it a little bit. But it's basically a matching service, so that if you're a new player looking to start getting into Pathfinder, it can help you find a group.
That's fantastic.
Very cool. I think that's great news. So we'll link the article. I didn't even read the full article, so like I'm not gonna try and vomit what it said, but we'll link it below. That's super cool. I think that's great.
That is well overdue for need. Like,
absolutely.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Very cool. So
that would have been great trying to find a group years and years ago when I first started to play D&D.
Right.
I had to find it on Reddit. So.
Yeah, which I mean, obviously Reddit is sort of the go-to for that, and it works because you can find local games that way.
Yeah.
But having an official partnership between the two, I think that's great. That's awesome.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's fun.
Yeah, that's awesome. Steam, they have their spring sale happening right now until the 23rd of March. Tons of top hits on sale. So if you want to check that out, go for it. And hey, seeing as we're coming up to the first year of the Steam Deck, they've also announced that for this week, you get 10% off of a Steam Deck, which is really good.
Yeah, Chad and Sarah are debating pulling the trigger on it.
Yes.
Yes. So check it out on their steampowered.com. The price drop is pretty significant. I mean, 10%, but I mean it
Yeah, raw numbers it looks.
Yeah.
Yeah, looks nice.
So
yeah, well, I mean, the fact that the fact that they went from we aren't even able to fill the orders to now we're giving it, like, that's great.
Yeah.
Good for them.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
And it's a great machine. We loved it. We all loved it. So
Yeah, I use mine not super frequently, but I do use it semi-frequently, and it's hit and miss with the bigger games, like the AAAs. Like, I played Stray on it, and that was great. That's actually how I played Stray, the first time I played it.
That seems like a great way to play it.
It was. I really enjoyed it, and I was able to do it because Stray isn't like a super involved game. I was able to do it on the couch, just chilling. Fantastic experience. I'm told that Diablo IV, for instance, runs like absolute dog shit on it.
That doesn't surprise me either.
Which is actually too bad, because I do think if they can get it running well on the Steam Deck, I do actually think that would be an amazing format to play it.
Yeah, well, we have Torchlight on Torchlight 2?
2
on
Switch?
Yeah, that's the word I'm looking for. Thank you. And it is so much fun playing it on there.
Yeah, I fired up Torchlight 2 on the Steam Deck, and yep, same thing. Yep. Great. There are games that it's like, this is Tunic, actually. I fired up briefly, and it was really great. And then there are other games that I wasn't sure if they'd be good, like City Skyline, I think it is. Not 2, the original, I think, is the one that I fired up. And it's a little on the clunky side because it wasn't designed for it.
Yeah.
But there's potential there. Yeah. Like, if somebody put some time into doing a proper key mapping for it, or if I did myself, there's potential there. There are a lot of games that play really nicely on that form factor, which obviously is why the Switch is, popular and everything. So
I'm curious how games like Red Dead Redemption and other AAAs like that would play, because I feel like on such a small screen you'd miss out on so much.
Well, I was gonna say, if you're actually talking about like literally playing it, I can't help you. But if you want to install it on mine and fire it up and see what it runs like, I mean, we can do that easily enough.
I don't even know if I have it on Steam, to be honest.
Yeah, I don't. I didn't buy it on Steam. I've bought. There are other AAAs that I've got that would probably give it a run. Like Stray, it didn't struggle with Stray, but like that fan was going. So like I think Stray is probably the upper limit for what it can do.
Yeah.
But honestly, it was super great. I mean, I played the hell out of some Graveyard Keeper on it. It's
so perfect. Like I've in advance of getting one, I've already rebought Stardew Valley to play on it. And
Yeah, it's a great thing. So if you are on the fence, the one thing I will say is, and I've said this before, don't buy anything, in my opinion, except for the base model, unless you are going to plan to use it outside a lot, in which case going for the high-end model with the glare-resistant nanoglass or whatever it is may be worthwhile. But I bought the base one, and I just play everything, including Stray, off of the memory card.
Yeah.
And it's great. Yeah. I've had no issues at all, so...
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of like what other you can install Tiny Tina's
there you go.
It's a free game. You just install that on there and give it a go.
Yeah, it's honestly, I haven't found that many things that it won't at least give a college try at running. There are games that it cannot run. It's just not powerful enough. But it's mostly down to the control scheme.
Yeah. When you lent us yours, I tried Visceral Cleanup, and it worked. It didn't feel comfortable. It felt like it was designed for keyboard mouse play.
Yeah, there's a fair bit of that. Now, mind you can also use a keyboard and mouse. If you do the dock, you can turn the Steam Deck into basically, literally a full-fledged PC pretty much.
Mm-hmm.
But at that point, like,
if I was traveling a bunch still, I would.
That's really the main reason I would think that you would want to do it. Otherwise, in all likelihood, well, maybe not always, but if you're getting a Steam Deck, you've probably already have some sort of laptop iPad, or something. Something that you play.
Yeah, on. But if I was traveling a lot, because you can hook it up to like hotel TVs and stuff if you do the dock. If I was still traveling a bunch, I'd bring a controller. Although I gotta say, I don't know if I can actually pick it up or not. It doesn't matter. You've all seen the S. The Xbox S, I would totally throw that in my luggage.
It's so tiny.
It's over there. It's over in the server rack right now. It's not big.
I did not expect it to be that small. I've never seen one before, so it was a little baby.
Yeah, I was a little surprised at how small it was too.
It's the size of the Kleenex box here.
Not much bigger. Yeah, and actually thinner.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was surprised because the marketing, I feel like, doesn't do a great job of showing how small it is. It's not a big unit. You could totally throw that in your carry-on,
Yep.
Unless you're like a serial overpacker. And I would totally take it because you just need, like, literally you need an HDMI and a power cord and Wi-Fi.
Controller.
Wow, okay, yeah, but I mean, you need a controller anyway.
You can actually use your phone to control your Xbox with the Xbox app.
And I do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So seeing as we're on the topic of hardware, let's question. Has there ever been a hardware release that you've all been kind of really super excited about?
Just in general,
In
excited?
general, like in...
Dreamcast.
That's my answer too.
I mean, I guess the Steam Deck,
Yeah.
but I still don't even have one. So
Yeah. Dreamcast is the big one for me, for sure. I was pretty excited about the PS4. I got one, right away. But yeah, Dreamcast is the big one. Actually, no, that's not fair. The Wii. I was very excited about the Wii. Yeah, we got that like day one as well.
Yeah, the Dreamcast, I know I've said it before, both probably here and in a previous life, but it was the only system that I actually took time off of work and was there at the midnight release date, and I'll never forget it because it was $9,999.
Yep.
And I remember going to the local mall where the EB Games was located at. They let the mall open for midnight to go in, grab it, and I got my Dreamcast, my Sonic Adventure, Soul Calibur.
Absolutely.
Got home, popped in Soul Calibur, and next thing I know, it was the next day at dinner time. And
I don't think it was one of the launch titles, but and I think we've talked about this before, but Armada was the one that I played just constantly.
yeah,
We woke up. I have a very vivid memory of my brother John and I playing, and there were these like kamikaze enemies that just would ram you, and they would try to ram into you, so you could kill them before you got there. So we had started, like, anytime we saw one, just ramming speed and just go straight into it. And we hit a boss of one of those, and we didn't really realize at the time, but I was like, ramming speed, and just blew up the boss in one shot because that's what it does. But we laughed so fucking hard that my parents woke up and they're like, what are you doing? It's 3 a.m. Get to bed.
yeah. Memories. I
I
loved it.
love
I love that Dreamcast. And to this day, I still say it was better than the PS2.
Yeah, well,
I still
the
say it was
Dreamcast was, for its time, it was the best. Anyone who won't agree that the Dreamcast was the best console of its era is maybe never played one. Like, I don't know. Like, it was just so frickin' good. And the game lineup for it was so frickin'
Fantastic.
good.
And it actually looked like it looked better, in my opinion.
Oh, it was a more powerful
Yeah,
machine.
it looked better. So
Yeah.
anyway.
yeah, I don't think there's ever any hardware myself that I was like super excited for. I know when Chad and I first started dating, I went and bought an Xbox One solely because I wanted to play Lara Croft on
Rise
it.
of the Tomb Raider, the sequel to the Tomb Raider reboot.
Yeah.
Which was a good game. Like, I mean, the Tomb Raider reboot, they did do a good job with that one. I found that the second one, they started getting into some weird shit, but
Well, the first one was weird too, but you kind of expect that with Tomb Raider. 'Cause
A little bit.
there was a dinosaur in one of the games, like
Yeah.
yeah.
A little bit. Yeah, I was trying to think of anything else, but honestly, no, that's pretty much it. There's a few pieces of hardware that I've thoroughly enjoyed, but I don't ever remember being like super hyped about them. Like before they came out.
Yeah.
I'm kind of hyped on those guns we found the other week,
know,
but
those look
I don't
really
have
sick.
anything to use them with
Yeah.
yet, and they're pricey enough that they're not like an impulse buy.
Yeah.
Especially since I think you'd want the one with kickback, which is like 200 and change.
Yeah.
Which is,
well,
Duck Hunt?
yeah, yeah. Well, seeing as we're getting near the end of our time here, you have been playing with Stable Diffusion.
Yeah, well, so first of all, if you haven't checked out Mid Journey, it's an AI graphic generator, and it is pretty cool. I might add a channel on our Discord. The bot is already in our Discord. I only have one channel that it can talk, and it's one that's only available to the three of us right now. I may open that up. The problem is that, like, you can only use it for a handful of images, without paying for it. And it's not like we would have to pay for it. It's like individually based on your Discord handle, you would have to pay for it. So I didn't open it up on our Discord, but you can check it out on their Discord server and play around with it, and it's pretty cool. But then immediately, because there's a very limited cap, I was like, how hard is it to get this running? And I got a previous version basically running on my local machine. You can do some pretty cool stuff with it. It's so the version that I have running is nowhere near as good as Midjourney, like not even freaking close. Because of course, as a paid service and with a large team behind it, they've done their own training and they've like had artists like do stuff and train it on that and everything else. So theirs is like miles ahead of mine, and it's using a newer algorithm called DALL-E, which the one that have set up, I don't have DALL-E. I tried, and maybe I'll try again, but it was pretty annoying to get set up. But I was able to like make weird like hybrid bug men and stuff like that. You can do some really cool stuff. So one of the reasons why I was playing with this is because we want to at some point do some D&D. We want to do like a filmed campaign eventually. This may not happen for a while, but when we do it, we want to do recaps. Like we want to add some elevation to it, and part of that is going to come in the form of like
imagery,
drawing, like art. And paying an artist, I would love to be able to pay an artist to do that, because artists are better than Midjourney or anything else in every conceivable way. But they also cost money, and we don't make any money.
Yes, we make $0.
Negative many dollars. So I was playing around with this, and I did get it working, and it is super cool. I will post, actually, now that we have the community tab, I will maybe post a few of the more interesting images that I've produced on there. The nice thing about it is that you can use images that you don't necessarily want out in the public. So like things like our logo, I can have it insert our logo into images without those becoming Creative Commons. Because if you give Midjourney like an image, you inherently agree that they can just reuse it however they see fit. Which is fine. I get it. They don't want to have to screw around with licensing and everything else. I get it. But I don't want to Creative Commons our logo. So now that I've got it running locally, I can like have it, I can give it the logo and be like, make this neon and stuff like that. And like, you can do cool stuff. So I've been playing around with that. I'm going to play around with it a bunch more. I'll post at least on Discord, maybe even on the community tab. I'll post some results.
And on that note,
I think we'll wrap it up there. We're going to film another podcast later today, so we want to still have some stuff to talk about.
Yes, we do. But let us close the curtain on this episode.
Are you like a British villain or
British?
Whatever that was.
I don't know. I was just making up a voice.
Oh, okay. All right. Thanks so much, everyone. Like and subscribe, and we'll see you on the next one.
Happy St. Paddy's Day.
That too.
That was yesterday.
Yes.